move forward. And they can, at a minimal price, continue their task stream account. Now, we also use Teachscape, and Pat Corbett is the one who brought this to us because Salem is using it. It is software that supports the observation and evaluation of teachers in the field. And we are the first in New Hampshire to use this software as a tool to observe and to evaluate our teacher candidates. And Pat is going to go into more detail with that with her presentation. So, throughout their program of study, throughout their clinical experiences, throughout their non-clinical courses, we have identified key artifacts that the students will then upload into their credentialing portfolio, which become a part of their, they use that as a foundation to develop their professional portfolio for the exit interview. But these are all the key artifacts. The key artifacts are key to the state standards. Okay, so again, it's that competency-based model. Then we have the exit interview, which occurs in the Culminating Teaching Experience course, and that is where the student compiles all of their materials. We review their personal plan of study to make sure there are no holes in what they were supposed to gather and for their credentialing portfolio. If they are, we use that Culminating Teaching Experience to make sure that they have all of the experiences that they are required to have. Okay, and then it is in this, the exit interview is a requirement and is 30% of the final grade in terms of how they need to do a presentation in front of their peers, as well as a minimum of 2 faculty where they present their professional portfolio. And that professional portfolio is organized according to the ED 61002s, the INTAS standards. Now, there was a question, what do we do with the program-specific standards? Okay, the program-specific standards are addressed with the key artifacts that are linked to all of the courses. And so when the teacher candidate is developing or preparing for their exit interview, they are drawing from those key artifacts for the program-specific standards, the ED 61209, the ED 61213, to develop and to embed them within the 61002s. So someone asked where they were, and for us, it is just such an automatic apparent. I did not state that clearly. Okay?
I will make one comment.
Yes.
That for the person evaluating the program-specific standards, it was very time-consuming to go into the 610s and have to pull out all of the 612s just for my purposes.
Okay.
Because they're all shattered into pieces and lined up with the 610s, but there's no place where they were all listed out.
Okay.
That I could see that were just the 612s, showing me exactly how.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to have someone else read me all the 610s so I could write down all the 612s.
That is good information for us to have, Nancy, but I will share with you that the philosophy of the Department of Education was for us to embed the program-specific within the 61002s. I hear what you're saying, and
So
we will know that for future. Yes, yes.
And there is a matrix that is in the portfolio and in the paper that has all the 610s in order, I mean all the 612s in order until at least what 610 it's under, but you still
Right.
have to search for it.
Right, then you
still
have to go
find
into the
it.
610s to find the evidence.
Yeah, right.
So,
And I apologize for the extra work that it cost.
no, I'm fine.
I know, but that's all right.
And I
So,
do have a couple more questions on this slide.
yes, go for it.
So you were talking about technology requirements.
Yes.
And then you said we are finding out that there are more specific technologies that would be applicable to your 2 programs. Are we gonna have a chance to hear about that?
Well, what we're hearing, for instance, for the blind and visually impaired, I believe the Elmo is what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
we were talking about like a document camera that has a good zoom and just some different things. And we're getting the recommendations from the faculty to replace some of the things that what would be good for everybody to have. And some of them might be high-tech, but some of them might be low-tech.
Another example would be the teachers who are serving children with hearing loss would have a toolkit where they could look at the hearing aids, clean, make any troubleshooting adaptations, listen to the equipment. So there's a little toolkit that will go along with that.
So that's what we're, and I'll be honest with you, I think this is going to evolve as we go forward.
Sure.
But it
Yeah.
needs to be program specific.
Right.
And I think we've been very, because we want them to have what they need when they go, because for the blind and visually impaired, they're really itinerants.
Yes.
So, and can you check with Della? Della says,
Yep, Della says, oh, I see. That was actually a question that she had asked, and I said, we'll
Got it.
make sure that we address
Okay.
that, so.
very good, thank you very much for asking, Nancy. Okay, so now, any other questions? Okay. Our quality control system, this language, quality control system, comes from CAPE. Anybody here been involved in CAPE accreditation? Okay. In 2 previous institutions, I have been involved, very, very involved with NCAPE accreditation. At Rivier and then at Augustana in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. When I came here, it was always with the understanding that ultimately we needed to go for the national accreditation. And the time when I really got the support of the president to move forward. Those of you who have been involved with national accreditations will also know that for presidents it's a very costly venture. And so there were concerns about the cost effectiveness of doing this, but I felt very strongly that we needed to move forward. We have been working with TIAC, which is, for those of you, to explain the difference between TIAC and CAPE. You used to have NCAPE, and then you used to have TIAC. And TIAC was for the non-traditional programs, and NCAPE was for the traditional programs. When we started exploring this 2 years ago, we went initially to TIAC because we are a non-traditional program. Since then, NCAPE has gone away, and there is now CAPE and TIAC in another year, actually until April 30th, 2016 will still be TIAC, but by May 1st, everybody will be CAPE. Okay? We are going to be a legacy within the TIAC inquiry brief, but we are going to be CAPE. Okay? Just so people understand. So this language, quality control system, comes from our 2 years of work working with TIAC, where what we have done to develop our inquiry brief, again, Bob has been very much a part of this, as Pat, as Nick, and other developers. We make claims, and we have to provide the data that supports the claims. So our TIAC inquiry brief, primarily, while we talk about the history, we give an overview of our program, we talk about how the program works. The critical component of the inquiry brief is the data that we have collected to give evidence that we are doing what we say we are doing. So we give overall data of all of our certification programs, but what we have done in this inquiry brief, we have identified, is it 10% of our students, where we have done an in-depth study of their credentialing portfolios, where as a group, we have looked at all of the significant data points within the credentialing portfolio, and we have done an in-depth analysis of each. So this becomes our quality control system. Because then we look, and so we look at the completers of our program to see if in fact, and it has been a wonderful process.